We've got guys.
In a documentary.
Yeah.
Right now, the belly dance community is looking at us as we are disgusting for what we're doing. But right now, what they think is it's going to be a big strip show. And the thing is that if
who thinks that? I haven't seen anything of that.
The belly
They're
dance
offended, like,
that.
you know, that the Desert Roses website said, you know, the young, whatever it said, young, beautiful, flawless.
We put a word out that we're looking for some younger girls. Okay, well, that offended a lot of the people in the belly dance community, and they assumed that that's all we were looking for. When we shot this video, age was really not a consideration. Matter of fact, we didn't have any young girls in it, really, you know, because we were looking for the top dancers. This DVD is I think, a tribute to, you know, the art of belly dance. We've got the best dancers in America.
Yeah.
The most important thing is what?
I don't care about those things.
I mean, I'm sticking around because just when I lose hope in him, he shows me this really, like, large picture of, like, his goals, and I go, oh, maybe there's hope.
So I get a call from a promoter friend of mine, Matt Taylor, who has this wild idea of doing a big show that's going to be televised around the world, and he wanted me to help him get a lot of rock bands to do the show, and I said, well, I'd help, but, you know, I got this belly dance project I'm really working on, and if you could fit them in, then it'd be worth my while to help you with your show. And he said, hey, sounds good, let's go for it. I thought, you know what, let's use it as a training ground, a little proving ground. So here I am headed off the airport with fingers crossed. Here we are after 11 hours flying yesterday from Los Angeles to Tokyo with 8 belly dancers, and now we're about to fly from Tokyo to Jakarta, which is about 7 hours. Then we're going to change planes and go to Bali, and all for this big concert. I got, you know, 4 weeks away from the start of Lollapalooza. You know, we got so much at risk at the Lollapalooza tour. Just, you know, yesterday morning I got up thinking, why am I doing this off to Bali to do a concert? You had SARS, you have the terrorism in Bali, you have all of this stuff going on in the world, you know, and orange alerts, and yellow alerts. Trying to get anybody on a plane is a real problem, which is why the state of Bali is supporting this event. Had problems at the airport, visas, wrong passport, whatever. But anyway, we're all here, and the entourage is intact and in reasonably good spirits. So I'm just hoping for the best.
They haven't really told us much. The only thing I know for sure that we're doing is we're dancing to one song with Hakeem's orchestra, which I prepared like a little medley of Hakeem songs.
I'm expecting chaos because we don't really know what we're doing yet. Yeah.
We're on our way.
I got the idea to do the World Peace Music Awards actually after I came to Bali, after the bomb. I realized that the media wasn't giving Bali any attention for their peaceful response. After the bomb, the reaction by the people was really humbling to me. And unless there's drama, and unless there's attacks and retaliation and anger and vengeance, then it doesn't get any coverage. So we thought, it's about time that we have a Peace Award. It's not necessarily just songs of peace either. It encapsulates all of what makes peace through music.
Yesterday, when we arrived at the airport, I noticed when the cameras are stuck in your face. What's going to happen basically is, in many ways, you guys are going to be the spokesman for belly dance to a level which has probably never been reached before. When that camera's stuck in your face, it's your opportunity to put forward what you want to say. You don't really care what they want to say or what they want to get out of you. The important thing to you is your particular message. What would be the message you'd want to have people hear?
That it's an art form, and we work hard for it, and I just want people to appreciate it like they would a ballet dancer, you know, when watching a beautiful piece on a big stage in a theater. You know, I don't want it to be, like, degraded just because it's in a nightclub or, you know, people get the wrong impression. Like, well, I don't want that anymore. granted, this is good for women and all of that stuff, but bottom line is it's entertaining, and that's why we're doing it.
Right.
And the fact that more than half our job is just being attractive, and that we are objectified both by men and women, are those things we should kind of just ignore?
That's how
I'd ask this question. What's wrong, and why shouldn't a woman be allowed to be sensual?
That belly dancing is definitely sexual. I mean,
That's right.
A lot of people try to deny that.
To me, it's not sexual. It's feminine. It's expressive, and you would do it also in Balinesian dance. You would do something with the hands, and I don't think that people are going to look at it and say, well, it's sexual. So it's so much more. But there's a lot of torso and hip movements that this is the area of what's going on. So
maybe the things that we call raunchy or degrading are actually not part of sexuality, but more part of violence, actually.
Maybe.
So if we could separate the language, if we get the language straight, then maybe we could realize that there's nothing wrong with being completely sexual and being sexual in the dance, and that's a positive thing. But that so much violence is somehow included in sexuality in the press and in most other things.
But it's also part of our response. I feel it's part of my responsibility as a belly dancer and someone who's trained in this art form to educate my audience that it is not like stripping, and there is a difference between stripping. Because there is a difference, because I don't take my clothes off.
So why is taking your clothes off a negative thing?
I think it would be insulting to the culture, to Middle Eastern culture.
Well, that brings up an interesting point, because I learned, as you know, from Mom, the belly dancing as kind of an American art form from the 60s and 70s. For me, it was always called belly dance.
Right.
And it was always from sort of a liberation of female sexuality standpoint, rather than archive a particular art form from another country.
As a folk dance, the purpose of this dance is to express joy. That can be distorted by any performer's intent. You can take any dance form and do it as something beautiful, or do it as something to make the seats wet.
We don't live in a society where people don't take note of other people's sexuality. I mean, I'm in a very conservative world, in a very conservative city, and don't kid yourself that it plays a role. Sometimes you have to recognize that your strength is somebody else's weakness. And if I'm dealing with a guy who doesn't have his sexuality in check, and he is more easily charmed than the next guy, it would be foolish for me not to recognize that as leverage, just like his colleague would use the fact that his dad went to Harvard, their fathers went to Harvard together. I mean, it's no different in our society, and I don't think people should be ashamed, and I don't think it is a statement on the advancement of women.
So we just found out Hakeem's not coming because there was a problem with the flights to get him back to Cairo, as that was one of the main things they were doing. To work this Dancing with Hakeem. Hakeem is not making it. So now it looks like we'll dance to his music, but I need to make sure that's slotted in the show and all that. So we just need to find the promoter. See if we can find a production manager.
So with this thing, I'm on the outside, but then after the spins, I come back here at the end. So you go.
Do like a double, yeah.
The belly dancers will be down here with DJ John Robinson and Enul. He's like,
well, they have choreographed pieces. They can dance to CD, so why not give them a slot that they do their thing? I mean, where Hakeem was going to go, you put them doing, so you have a choreographed piece that's set for TV with all 8 dancers. Then you've got that whole piece done. Then they fill in doing something with the DJ and then something with Zohar. Then we're fine.
Okay, at this point, I don't really have anywhere to cut to give them their own 5-minute spot. Because 5 minutes is a lot.
I need one sequence for the belly dancers with, let's just, for argument's